Hey everybody, it is your boy Merciful Kev back with another video, and this time this video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit different because we are going to be talking about a completely different game, one that I have not mentioned on this channel at all whatsoever, but I have been secretly hyped for such a long time, and that is called the First Descendant. So the First Descendant, not sure if you guys have heard of this game, but I actually played this game back like I believe like 8-9 months ago, something like that. They had like an open beta test for everybody to play, and I told nobody about it. I literally played it by myself, and I had so much fun. And mind you, I already knew what I was getting into when I played the open beta of this game. Like, you know, I knew there was going to be bugs, I knew there was going to be issues, but even still, I just saw the potential of what it was going to be, not just because of what it is, but because of the genre, the type of game that it is. And I have been yearning for a new game like this. Okay, so I just want to break this video down into like two parts, right? Why am I so excited for this game, and then what concerns me? Okay, so let's talk about the first thing, which is, you know, why I'm so excited for this game, right? So first and foremost, it's a live service game, right? And I love live service games that are going to continually just keep pushing content towards you, keeping you busy. You know, there's gonna just have a lot of content to take in, have a lot of fun, and they're usually games that last for years and years and years, and it's just like never ending, you know what I mean? And so, you know, obviously the ones that come to mind are like, you know, The Division, Destiny 2, even Warframe. I'm not really a huge Warframe fan, but it's still the same type of game, you know what I mean? And looter shooters are notorious for these, you know, live service type of games, and this is literally down my alley. Like, this is what I like, right? So so there's huge potential for this game just because it's a live service game. Okay, I freaking love it. I love the fact that you can, you know, play with your friends, family, or whatever, and go explore, loot together and stuff like that. Or you can literally match up randomly with randoms and play missions with randoms, and never even have to talk to them at that. You know what I mean? That's something that I really appreciate in not Destiny, but in The Division. In The Division, when you complete missions, you can literally matchmake with random people, never talk to them, and have a blast. You know, just blowing through enemies, you know, with your different builds and stuff like that, defeating, you know, boss fights. It's just so much fun. Okay, so there's that. So the another thing I want to talk about is that it's in third person, right? Third person. Like, I love third person shooters. I don't know why, even though I come from a first person shooter background, right? Call of Duty, Call of Duty 4, you know, well, I started Call of Duty in Call of Duty 3, by the way. I'm 32, right? So don't come at me in the comments, but there's always been something about third person shooters that is just so refreshing, and so easy. I feel like third person shooters are just easier, you know. I don't know if that's the same for anybody else. Let me know down in the comments, right? So The Division, obviously a third person shooter, I literally love that game, and it's probably one of my top 5 games of all time, like ever. And just the gunplay in that game being in third person is just so satisfying. And when I played the open beta of this game, of the First Descendant, I felt that same satisfying feeling, shooting and moving around in third person. And there's just something else as well that you appreciate when you're able to see your character, you know what I mean? So the game looks beautiful, right? It's literally such a beautiful game. The characters, the way they've made them look, is so beautiful. They made this game using Unreal Engine 5, so definitely you can see that it's been made in Unreal Engine 5. So but yeah, and then with the characters, not the characters, the loot, right? I want to get into the loot, right? So there's a variety of loot, and builds, right? Like there's so many different ways to play. And again, this is something that needs to happen in a live service game. You need to have a variety of things to do, a variety of things to obtain, variety of characters if you have characters in the game, right? And that is something that happens perfectly in this game, right? They have different types of weapons to achieve. They have ultimate weapons to get, builds that actually pair up with specific abilities from different characters and stuff like that, you know. And there's specific characters that pair up with specific weapons that can be used perfectly for specific missions, and vice versa. Or if you're not even specific missions, but like, I guess you could say pairing up well with your team as well when you go into these missions, you know. So there's just so many different ways to play this game because of the variety that is in the game, like all around. So that makes it very, very exciting. So then the characters, right? So there's a huge diversity of characters, like I was just already saying. Besides the weapons and stuff like that, there's a diversity of characters, right? There's so many different characters, right? And they all have unique abilities. They all, you know, pertain to specific play styles, whether you want to go fast or slow, like move like a tank or support character, all these type of things. Like for example, like Bunny. I'm sure if you've heard of this game, you already know who Bunny is. She's the one, you know, where with the bunny ears, obviously, running super fast in these gameplay videos, wearing, you know, super tight skin suit, right? Fun, really fun character to play. I played that character, you know, in the open beta, and her abilities is all about chaining electricity. So like, you're literally just running through hordes of enemies, electrocuting everything. Like, it's so fire, you know what I mean? Like, there's just something that just feels so good when you're in a game and you just feel so powerful, right? Now, of course, you know, you get into the whole argument of like, well, is it overpowered? Should it get nerfed? We're not really gonna know until we get the full release of the game, which comes out July 2nd, by the way, right? And then they also have another character called, it's like a music character. I don't know if they released the name or whatever, but I saw it in the video because it wasn't in the open beta when I played it. But basically, a character that is like music based, that moves or attacks on beat or something like that. How that's gonna play out in this game, I have no idea. But just think about that. Like, that is something that is so insane and awesome to have. Like, this is a looter shooter, and then you're gonna have a character that is probably gonna pertain to a specific audience of people, right? So that brings a whole new audience of people into this game. You know, there's literally games out there literally created based off of this fact, right? Based off of this dynamic, I guess you could say, where, you know, they're called like rhythm based games, right? So the fact that there's a character made, you know, just based on that is just amazing. Okay, so also with the characters, you get to earn and unlock new characters, right, via materials, which is awesome, right? And when you earn and unlock these characters, you permanently have them, right? So it's not like a temporary thing. Whatever it is that you earn, all the materials that you earn through combat will unlock characters, right? So that's good to know, right? So now then, when grinding weapons, obviously that's something that we all want to do in a looter shooter live service game. What's really great that I found out was that the grinding weapons, they aren't tied to specific missions, so you can do whatever missions you want and you will be able to unlock whatever weapons you want, right? You know, in some games, you know, these specific weapons are tied to specific missions, and that kind of like gets annoying, because, you know, you kind of want to just play the game how you want, do whatever it is that you want to unlock whatever gun you want. You know, you want to give the player full I guess you could say full reign on the game to just play however you want. And that's how every game should be, honestly, right? And then obviously playing harder difficulty missions is going to get you better loot, right? And one thing that I saw in this game, which is really awesome, is the fact that you're able to use something that's called modifiers. So like, when playing these tough missions, you can make them even tougher by placing modifiers. So for example, you can increase the enemy HP for example, right? Or increase their speed or something, like, I don't know, or increase the amount of enemies that show up in the mission. You know what I mean? These are you know, modifiers that are going to help make the mission more difficult. And what's cool is that with these modifiers, you can actually adjust them to play specific or different play styles, or, you know, however you and your team want to play, to earn, you know, increased rewards, whether it's materials and weapons and stuff like that. So huge variety right here. And then they also have like 3 horde modes. They didn't call them horde modes, but when they explained it, it's basically a horde mode where you are basically running through enemies and you are going nonstop until you can't anymore, right? And then the further you go through, you know, so for example, let's say you're, you know, in phase 11 or level 11 or whatever, then you're gonna hit specific rewards, you know, the further you go in this, you know, quote unquote horde mode, right? I forgot the names of what they called them, but there definitely was 3 of them. I think one of them was basically just running through enemies and killing as many as you can in the time limit. Another one was like a defensive one where you're like protecting an objective. And then the third one, I believe, is like you're chasing down these bombers while still attacking all these other enemies, all within a time frame. So all 3 modes are within time frames, and there's levels to each game mode, right? Yeah, which is pretty cool, right? So again, and then the last thing, right, is the endless game content, right? Just there's just such a vast replayability in this game, and the devs even said it themselves. Like, they even have a video, I believe, on YouTube, IGN, that talks about endless game content, endless endgame content. Jesus, right? Endless endgame content. Endless endgame content is such a bold statement, and it's just like, wow, what do you mean by that, right? And it's just like the missions, right, that you can play in different ways, different difficulties, the boss fights that they have, right? They have these boss fights that are called I believe void intercept battles, right? Which is basically like an instant battle where you go in with your team and you like basically teleport into this dimension where it's just you, your team, and the boss, and you basically have to learn the mechanics of the boss and try and kill the boss, obviously, right? And that right there is freaking awesome. Okay, so like there's, I don't know how many of those bosses will they continue to add on in the future, you know, what different mechanics they're gonna change within those boss fights and stuff like that. So I'm just super excited with the amount of content that is coming to this game that just looks so good. I'm freaking excited. Okay, so yeah, so that's everything that I'm really excited for. Everything that I'm excited for. Let me know down in the comments if you guys are excited for the same exact things as me. If there's anything else different that you guys aren't excited about, I mean that you guys are excited about, let me know down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Okay, so now let's go over to what concerns me. Right now, what concerns me in this game, and which is not many. Okay, it's not many things. There's way more positives than the negatives, right? But what concerns me is that the instant boss fights, right? The void intercept battles, right? I heard that basically like the rewards that you unlock, you're not gonna unlock weapons. You're gonna unlock materials instead of weapons, which is so stupid. Like, bro, like if we're in these hectic battles, right? These void intercept battles, these big boss instance battles, then I don't want materials, bro. I want to be able to, you know, see the reward for my effort, my time. I don't want to see materials. I mean, then again, like, I could be thinking overly dramatic about this. The materials could be a great benefit, and that would allow me to unlock some like crazy weapons or whatever. But I don't know. I just feel like going through a tough encounter in the game should immediately give me something amazing as a weapon, right? or an ability or something like that at the end of it, right? So for example, a perfect example of this is Destiny. Like when you go through the raid, right, at the end or in points of the raid, like you are unlocking gear, you're unlocking, you know, weapons that you can only obtain in these raids, right? And it's like a good feeling that you're able to go through that and unlock that, right? Because these are tough missions, right? So it should be the same thing here, right? You know, imagine you in Destiny going through a whole raid for a few hours and then you get material at the end. I would lose my mind. Right? So that's something that I'm kind of worried about. But again, we won't really know until the game comes out. So another thing that that concerns me is the gacha mechanics for paint. And this is something that I actually went through myself when I played the open beta, and I was like trying to, you know, paint my characters. And when I mean paint, we're talking about, you know, changing the color of the outfits or the skin, changing the colors of the skins of our descendants, you know, like red, blue, green, you know, stuff like that. So, and the reason why I want to point this out is because they have it set up like this gacha mechanic. So basically what happens is you have to get 3 materials, right, that then allows you to randomly roll a color. And then when you do that, the materials get used. So you can no longer, you know, use it again unless you have more of those same materials. And it's per descendant. So you have to randomly roll the color that you're looking for per descendant, and the materials that are needed for this can be bought, right? So it's like they put a RNG mechanic, a gacha mechanic that is like so random and annoying. Like it's like they're forcing you to pay to get the color you want on your descendant. That's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of annoying. I understand the game is free to play and they have to make money somewhere, but that's just, I don't know, that's just a little, I don't know, that's a little gimmicky to me, or a little scammy to me, you know what I mean? Yes, and then the next thing is going to be the story, right? Will it be good enough? Will it be good enough? And the thing about live service games, you know, like again, I keep comparing to the Division or Destiny or even Warframe. I personally don't like Warframe. Never really dove into it like that. I don't know how the story is over there, but I know that when it comes to the Division and Destiny, these two games story, it is top tier, to the point where like if they made actual movies on Destiny and the Division, you would go to the movie theaters and watch it and it would probably do amazing, right? It would probably break records, right? That's my opinion. But so I feel like this live service game, they have like a good story going here, but again, we don't know. Is it gonna be a little corny? I don't know. We can't see until the game comes out. But that's something that I don't really have that much confidence in, because I'm comparing it to games like Division and Destiny, whose story is just so top tier, right? And then lastly is the empty world. My question is it still too empty, right? When I played the game, even though I had so much fun, you know, 8 months back playing the open beta test, I had so much fun, but the worlds were barren, were empty and small. So obviously I didn't make too much of a critique on it. I noticed it. It is what it is. I was like, you know what, in the future I'm sure they're gonna add more to the worlds and stuff like that. But we haven't seen the game yet. I mean, we've seen like new gameplay now, but even still, you're not gonna really get that feeling of, you know, is the world empty until you actually yourself play the game. So that's just something that I'm concerned about. So that's pretty much it. Not to take any more of your guys' time, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this type of video. If you guys enjoy me making videos like this, please let me know down in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and hit that button on the notification so you can get notified when I make more videos like this. I'm definitely going to be making more content on the First Descendant. So yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Appreciate you guys. God bless you all and love you all.